The judge was seconds away from finalizing my divorce when my 7-year-old daughter raised her tiny hand and whispered, "Your Honor, may I show you something my dad doesn't know about?" The courtroom chuckled at first. People shifted in their seats. Someone coughed. The judge, a woman who'd seen every kind of family disaster, actually smiled. "Sweetheart, this is a courtroom," she said gently. "We don't usually," but my daughter was already pulling out that old pink tablet. The one with the cracked screen. The one I'd bought her 3 years ago for birthday Zoom calls with my mom. She held it against her chest like it weighed 100 pounds. "I recorded something," she said. "I didn't mean to, but I think you need to see it." My ex-wife, Sarah, went pale, like someone had drained every drop of blood from her face in less than a second. And that's when I knew, whatever was on that tablet, it was going to change everything. Let me back up. My name is Matt. I'm 34 years old. 2 years ago, I was a construction foreman making good money. Not rich, but comfortable. I prayed for 12 years to a woman I genuinely thought I'd die next to. Sarah and I met at a diner. She was a waitress. I was 22, covered in drywall dust, ordering coffee at 2 in the morning after a 16-hour shift. She made fun of my boots. I fell in love right there. We had our daughter Lily when I was 25. Sarah wanted to stay home with her, so I worked more. Double shifts. Weekends. I missed birthdays. I missed parent-teacher conferences. But every single morning for 12 years, I packed Lily's lunch. Cut her sandwiches into star shapes, because she told me once that stars were lucky. I thought I was a good father. I thought I was a good husband. Then Sarah changed. It started small. She'd forget to text me back. She'd pull away when I tried to hug her. She started going to a book club twice a week, sometimes coming home at midnight smelling like perfume she didn't own. I asked her about it. She said I was paranoid. She said I worked too much and didn't appreciate her. She said I was never home, so I cut back my hours. I took a pay cut just to be around more. I made dinner every night. I did laundry. I tried. Nothing changed. 6 months ago, she sat me down on our couch, the same couch where we'd watched Lily take her first steps, and told me she wanted a divorce. "I'm not happy anymore," she said. Her voice was flat, empty, like she'd rehearsed it 100 times. I asked if there was someone else. She looked me dead in the eyes and said no. I believed her. God help me. I believed her. The divorce process was a nightmare from day one. Sarah hired a shark lawyer, some woman in a $500 blazer who kept calling me the absentee father during every hearing. I couldn't afford a good lawyer. I'd spent everything keeping our family afloat, so I got a public defender named Dave, who smelled like cigarettes and looked like he'd given up on life sometime in 2007. Sarah demanded full custody. She said I was unstable because I worked construction. She said I had anger issues. She said I'd yelled at Lily once during a tantrum, which, yes, I had raised my voice. Once. For 10 seconds. After Lily threw a toy at the TV. But in that courtroom, Sarah made it sound like I was dangerous. "The father has demonstrated volatile behavior," her lawyer said. "We believe the child is not safe in his care." I sat there with my hands under the table, digging my fingernails into my palms to keep from crying. Lily was in the hallway with a court-appointed guardian. I could see her through the little window on the door. She was coloring. She looked so small. And every time she looked up at me through that glass, she had this expression, like she wanted to tell me something, like she was trying to send me a message with her eyes. But Sarah's lawyer kept objecting every time I tried to speak. The judge kept telling me to wait my turn. And Sarah, my wife, the woman I'd loved for 12 years, wouldn't even look at me. She just stared straight ahead with cold, flat eyes, like I was already a stranger. The temporary custody hearing was supposed to be simple. Just a few weeks until the final trial. But Sarah's lawyer pushed for an emergency order. She claimed I'd threatened Sarah. She claimed I'd shown up at the house drunk. Both lies. I had texts proving I'd stayed away. I had witnesses. But my lawyer was too slow, too tired. He didn't object fast enough. The judge granted Sarah a temporary sole custody. I could see Lily twice a week, supervised, for 2 hours. I drove home that night and sat in my truck in the driveway for 45 minutes, just staring at the steering wheel. The house was empty. Sarah had already moved most of her stuff. Lily's room was half-packed. Boxes everywhere. Her stuffed animals piled in a corner like they'd been thrown there. I picked up her favorite bear, the one she'd slept with since she was 2, and I just held it. That was the first time I cried. Not when Sarah asked for the divorce. Not when she lied in court. Not when the judge ruled against me. It was holding that stupid, worn-out bear, alone in a house that didn't feel like home anymore. The next visitation, Lily looked different. Thinner. Quieter. She didn't run to me when I walked in. She just sat on the floor, drawing, and when I sat next to her, she leaned her head on my arm without saying a word. "Are you okay, Bug?" I asked. She nodded, but her eyes said something else, and that's when I noticed it. She had a bruise on her wrist. Small, yellowish green, like it was healing. "Lily, what happened to your arm?" She pulled her sleeve down fast. Too fast. "I fell," she whispered, but she wouldn't look at me. I reported the bruise to my lawyer. He said it was probably nothing. He said kids fall. He said if I pushed too hard, Sarah's lawyer would accuse me of harassing the mother. I called Child Protective Services myself. They came to my apartment 2 days later. A woman with kind eyes and a notepad asked me a lot of questions. I answered everything. I gave them names, dates, everything I could remember. They told me they'd investigate. 3 weeks later, they closed the case. No evidence of abuse. I was losing my mind. Every night, I'd lie awake replaying every interaction, every look, every word Sarah had said. And the more I replayed it, the more I realized nothing added up. She'd been distant for a year. She'd started hiding her phone. She'd gone on those book club nights. And Lily, my sweet, talkative, impossible to shut up Lily, had gone completely silent. Something was wrong. I just couldn't prove it. The final hearing was scheduled for a Tuesday. I showed up in my only suit, the one I'd worn to my father's funeral. Sarah showed up in a cream-colored dress. Her hair perfect. Her makeup flawless. She looked like she was going to brunch, not destroying our family. Lily sat in the back with a guardian. She was holding that pink tablet, the crack one. I remember thinking it was weird that she brought it. Kids don't usually bring tablets to court. But I didn't think much of it. Not until she raised her hand. The court will now hear final arguments before rendering a decision on permanent custody. The judge said. Sarah's lawyer stood up. She adjusted her blazer. She looked at me like I was garbage. "Your Honor, the mother has provided substantial evidence of father's emotional instability and inability to provide a safe environment. We are requesting full legal and physical custody with supervised visitation only. The mother is also requesting that the father pay child support and cover the mother's legal fees." My lawyer started to object. But before you get 2 words out, "Your Honor," everyone turned. Lily was standing. Her little hand was still raised. The guardian was trying to pull her back down, but Lily wouldn't budge. "Your Honor," she said again, louder this time. Her voice shook, but she didn't cry. "May I show you something my dad doesn't know about?" The courtroom chuckled. The judge tilted her head. "Sweetheart, this is a courtroom. We don't usually allow children to present evidence." "I know," Lily said, "but I recorded something. I mean to, but I think you need to see it." Sarah's face went white, not pale, white, like someone had erased her. "Lily, sit down," Sarah hissed. Right now, Lily looked at her mother, and for the first time in months I saw something. My daughter's eyes had broke my heart. She looked scared, but not of me. "Your Honor," Lily said, holding up that cracked pink tablet. "It's a video. It's only 30 seconds long, but I promise you want to see it." The judge was quiet for a long moment. Then she looked at Sarah's lawyer, then at me, then back at Lily. "Bring it here," the judge said. The court deputy took the tablet from Lily's hands. He handed it to the judge. Sarah was shaking. She kept whispering to her lawyer, who was whispering back furiously. The judge pressed play. She tilted the screen so she could see it. Lily else could. For 10 seconds, the judge's face didn't moved. She just watched. Then her eyes narrowed. Then her jaw tightened. Then she looked up at Sarah with an expression I'll never forget for as long as I live. She looked disgusted. "Madam Clerk," the judge said, "please display this video on the courtroom monitor." Sarah's lawyer stood up. "Your Honor, I object." "Sit down," the judge said. The video started playing on the big screen. The whole room went silent. It was dark. The camera was pointed at the floor. Lily must have left the recording in her room. But you could hear everything. You could hear Sarah's voice. Cold. Sharp. Remember what we practiced? A pause. Then Lily's voice, small and scared. Mommy, I don't want to lie. It's not lying, Sarah said. It's protecting us. I don't want to say Daddy scares me. He doesn't. He will if you don't say it. Pause. Mommy. But why is the man here again? The one with the beard? Another pause. Longer this time. Don't worry about him, Lily. Just worry about the story. Can you tell me the story? I don't want to. Tell me the story, Lily. I don't want to tell me the story. Silence. Then Lily's voice, barely a whisper or crying. Daddy scares me. Daddy yells. Daddy push Mommy. Good girl. The video ended. The courtroom was dead silent. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. And then I looked at Sarah. For the first time that day, my wife looked afraid. The judge removed her glasses slowly, deliberately, like she needed a moment to process what she'd just heard. She set them down on the bench. Then she looked at Sarah's lawyer. You were aware of this? Sarah's lawyer opened her mouth. Closed it. Open it again. I wasn't. The mother never disclosed. Did you review the evidence before presenting it to this court? I reviewed what the mother provided. You didn't think to ask why a 7-year-old had a memorized script. Silence. The judge turned to Sarah. Mrs. Thompson, you have 30 seconds to explain why I should hold you in contempt and refer you for criminal charges. Sarah started crying. Real tears this time. Not the performance tears I'd seen in every hearing. He was going to take her, she sobbed. He was going to take my baby. Ma'am, your husband filed for standard visitation. He never asked for full custody. You did. Sarah couldn't answer. She just kept crying. And Lily, my brave, broken, beautiful Lily, walked past her mother without a single glance. She walked past the lawyers, past the guardian, past everyone. She walked straight to me. She sat down in the chair next to mine. She leaned her head against my arm, and she whispered, I'm sorry I didn't show you. The first, Daddy. I was scared. I put my arm around her. I pulled her close. And for the first time in 6 months, I felt like I could breathe. The judge didn't even deliver it. She granted me full legal and physical custody effective immediately. Supervised visitation for Sarah, only if she completed counseling and a parenting class. And she ordered an immediate investigation into the man with a beard that Lily mentioned. On the recording, Sarah's lawyer tried to appeal. The judge denied it before she finished her sentence. Then the judge looked down at Lily. Her voice softened. Sweetheart, I have one more question for you. Lily nodded. After everything that happened today, who do you want to go home with? Lily didn't hesitate. She looked up at me. She squeezed my hand. Then she said something I will carry with me until the day I die. He may not be my real dad. She said quietly. Mommy told me last month that my real dad is someone else. She said I wasn't supposed to know until I was older, but she told me because she said it would help me hate Daddy. She paused. Her voice started shaking, but Daddy stayed. Daddy packed my lunches. Daddy read me stories. Daddy came to every school play even when Mommy said he wasn't invited. She looked at the judge with tears running down her cheeks. That's what a dad is. Not someone who made you, someone who stayed. The courtroom was silent again. But this time it wasn't shock. It was something else. Something I didn't expect. People were crying. The clerk. The bailiff. Even my cigarette smoking. Given up on life lawyer wiped his eyes. Sarah just sat there, alone. Her perfect hair falling out of its clip. Her cream-colored dress wrinkled. She had won the battle for 2 months. She had lost everything in 30 seconds that I drove Lily home that night in my old truck. She fell asleep in the passenger seat with her head against the window. The pink tablet was in her lap. I'd asked her if she wanted to get rid of it. She said no. She wanted to keep it. It reminds me that the truth always comes out. She said she's 7. She shouldn't have to know that. But here's what I learned through all of this. Here's what I want anyone watching to understand. Sometimes the people close to you will lie. They'll lie to your face. They'll lie in front of judges. They'll lie to your own children. And you want to scream. You want to fight. You want to burn everything down. But don't, because the truth doesn't need you to defend it. It just needs time. And sometimes the truth comes from the smallest hands, holding the oldest tablet with the quietest voice. My daughter saved me that day. Not with evidence. Not with revenge. With courage and Sarah. Last I heard, the investigation found a man with the beard. He had a record, fraud, identity theft. Turns out Sarah wasn't just having an affair. She was planning to drain our bank account, take Lily, and disappear before I ever found out the truth. She's facing charges now. I don't know how it'll end for her, but I know how it ended for me. I'm sitting on the floor of our new apartment. Lily's asleep in her room. The door's open so I can hear her if she needs me. And for the first time in a long time, I'm not angry anymore. I'm just grateful, because I almost lost my daughter to someone who never deserved her. But I didn't. And every morning now, when I pack her lunch, I still cut her sandwiches into stars. Moral of the story: the people who stay, the ones who show up every single day, without applause or recognition, those are the real family. Biology doesn't make a parent. Love does. And truth always finds a way to the surface. Always. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? Share your story in the comments. Subscribe for more emotional, true stories.